Miss B Designer Outlet is the #1 quality and affordable stop shop for all your needs. Get your evening dresses, suit and ties, office wears for both ladies and gentlemen, beach wears, sport wears, pure leather shoes for men, quality belts, bags, heels for our beautiful ladies, original perfumes, accessories, and a lot more. Find us at Kololini Road opposite Gaddafi Mosque at the Aqua Bridge Station, or call us on 295-3411 or 764-2486. Miss B Designer Outlet. Shop right, look good.
Agada
ke mbijan aganyani
albaka
mbaka important
yo nga transfer la sto
ya transfer la
ha code nyinji
okay important nsila id soto
sa so sorry agada
mbijan bro
albaka
mbaka
bara alla service o tariaka mbale ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka
jannom yona forest de bureau gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere birin koyna fo katon
bari si kodo kino katon nim fo bolong blabe
56 branches mola soto gambia jam
ha
gambia kono ani gambia bantala bankol nko kono kiya bere kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw jannam number 1 di nyonta andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale le dadi mani domorol ni fana beteat gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale di
wo moyo ha
apelenta
baraka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina
yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba
yalo ndel chosano lo
baraka
communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities, all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Guesthouse internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcell, Yaibaram.
When we touch down, better broke down.
Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
That's how she became mine and see that.
ñëw ak yéen rek skincare plus nara jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguwuñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5 star jesna la 5 star jesna mooy jesna bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo tube but bu la neexee ñu tuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la. We're not all about skin. We are skin, care, and the plus does come in so many different ways.
No, ini bara. Okay. Welcome. Basically, lot of lala me along is cool, man. That I can really relax. What a madam? Yeah, what a madam? Yeah. Let them do somebody. That's right. Grand Villa. Kamu jadi Grand Villa. That's fine. Selamat. Yes. No. Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically me alone because very relaxed. So the two is going to happen on this training. Nina Fanny say what? Nidia, Nena Grand Villa is the best guest house in the Gambia. Beji and the Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungul bebe senyaring adu na bungul bebe nyarandiring coming ibela fila ila suwe taranyame until Grand Villa na kiliano la lafino wala mukawati intel kang na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fa kalamuta. Oh man, this is like a paradise. I know. I so much love this place. Yeah, thank you. Trust me, I love this place. You come to someone and you're watching what? Yeah. I know to Gambia. Grand Villa. I tell you. I love this place. Okay. I love this place, man. Oh yeah. Ni lefta na kuo keso sotola futama Oljuntum Paradise Estate mbaya kumandiroke 7527-218 wale futana website oto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Busubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
Domoro kadiate
boy janno sikes restaurant
e sai nakko be ninna dimbal nimba domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kendema bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka we bijele anim fanan ka fadi jang ikono e fa e ka fa minne ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele birthday lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo fendin lom dunia kono domoro betama nyillom international o toda number 1
amanke ba do mo lo jang damman
esa do mo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa na ko sa futandin
oto sa na ko be mu CK's restaurant
dafa na janna mu yat ni manje do mbijam
aban
CK's restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
na broda min ba Europe Mr. Conte nka bo wala kol kan sai na suko na mano ban ta jabo ban ta tulo ban sai ka bo wala kol kan da ka ba official kana ba dama bulo mutarin baka ta funtula no ko ba tunga ne ta ya puriye ma ko duman dinga ta mano sani tulo ne jam mun da be te la broda man balwo service kala mun service balwo service ni da furon ta mo kala mun da a fe la broda ko abitala internet all aya ba site la woldo balwo.com nay wo sajje a apo ñu ba download la telephone lo na be sandiro to ni wal na be sirin ala office ko ndama manjar pour ay ta bank ko kodoki abe sirin office ko na daminto ito message so yo telephone ko no e bitiko be Gambia dawda bitiko ba belo ko ta tano dawda yeta fenko tawo wodama yala bari wo service na ta mo da han ata ñole be kan fi jalla bro dan ka ko ata ñole ayo ko ti da
balwo service dinkirala jampo o manken na kolaya ko balwo service al demano kaje ko ale domor feŋol sang alla dimbaya molu ana lakkanun tewol wato bela ani wad sudum fanan kono balwo service la dinkiralu ani la do kunyolu e banko karo beto kabirin katon fo koyna nalla fa ko ku ko tan so balwo service la kolto ali commandi telephone line la milbuko 9400213 7694319 wala 3192870 wala hankabi alta internet oto alila kolu jibe www.baluwo.com.
Do you live abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.
Hello and welcome to the brunch on Kerfat. Today being Saturday, the 29th February 2020. As usual, we will be starting with our press review and analyze the issues in the news with our studio guest. Among the guests today, we have Mr. Karo Sala, who is here on his capacity as a private citizen and is a commentator on Gambian affairs. Imam Leigh is here to represent the Gambia National Commission on Human Rights, and he will also help us go through one of the major stories in the news. And of course, my usual co-panelist is here, Nyima Kamara, a lecturer at the University of the Gambia. A political science lecturer, I should qualify, at the University of the Gambia. So, gentlemen and lady, welcome to the brunch.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right, the major stories this week have been the fire at Basse. We've made to understand that the fire has consumed the entire market in Basse. Some officials estimate that close to $500 million, over $500 million might have perished in the fire. That's of course in terms of kind and kind, or cash and kind if you like. We have more revelations at the TRRC. President Jammeh's own steward, whom people said was much closer to him than anybody else, had said, in fact, the president, or the former president, accusing the former president of sadism, if you like. We will also talk about other issues as the program progresses. So, gentlemen, welcome to the program. And lady, like you said. First is the Basse market. And then, of course, we talk about the closure, the reopening, and the mediation that leads to the opening of King FM, rather, remind me, Digital FM, and the other radio stations that have been closed over the last week in the wake of the 3 years judgment demonstration. So Imam Leigh will be here. His commission mediated to facilitate the reopening of that. But let's go to Basse first. Nyima, Basse market went into flames, and quite unfortunately, we've been told that nothing is left standing in the wake of the fire. Everything was consumed. From what we heard, the police or the authorities are still investigating. They suspected electricity malfunction or etc., but nobody knows what caused the fire. But is it what caused the fire, or what actually led to the fire, the cause, or the lessons learned from this fire is what we want to talk about. How many times do we have such fires, and how many times do we still are left with no answers or solutions for these things? What is your take?
First of all, I want to begin by saying this was a tragedy, and it was a tragedy that was preventable. We've seen this occur and reoccur several times in the past few years. We had the Bikama market, part of it burnt down. We had the Serekunda market, part of it burnt down, and now Basse has burned down completely. And that also followed on another fire outbreak that happened somewhere around Joshua. So in all of this, the responses usually are swift, they're quick, people are willing to put in money, but nobody questions what needs to be done to prevent a reoccurrence of this nature. What led to it? We are told investigations are happening, but hardly do we receive results on these investigations that will serve as a lesson moving forward. So first of all, we need to know what is happening. If electricity, NAWEC, contributes to this, we need to understand why, and we need to find remedies and solutions to that. That's what's the most important thing. But we also need to question how we plan, how we build. Those are all of the things that need to be questioned. But even whereas we are willing to respond in a humanitarian manner, it is very necessary that we do not politicize. I know we're going to come into this debate a little further on. That we do not politicize, because usually what is missing from that is proper insight to understand what happened, how do we deal with it, how do we provide solutions that are going to prevent a reoccurrence. When you politicize an event like that, your aim is to receive a political end that serves only yourself and not necessarily the greater society.
Imam, you heard of the fire, and you must be familiar with Basse market. If not, what are your thoughts on what are the possible causes and what can be done to solve the problems of market? How many markets can you remember in your time have gone into flames from Banjul to Basse in the country?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Cham, and thank you, Fatu. First and foremost, I must thank you for having me, and I I'd be more than willing to share with my experience concerning the fire in Basse, Serekunda, Birkama, Kanilai, and everywhere. Now I'm speaking as an engineer.
Yes.
Understand?
Yes, that's right.
Who knows very well, because it's easy for Gambians to blame NAWEC. And there are many cases it's not NAWEC, if the owners of the shops themselves learn from experience. As I was working with NAWEC so many years, sometimes even in our homes it happens. You order a meter from NAWEC, NAWEC send their expert, their professional, install the meter for you, and the following day a next door neighbor asks you to extend your electricity supply to him. You just think moving the electricity is just to connect two cables, positive and negative, and connect them. And that goes on and on and on. You will see one meter at times, you will be even overloaded, and not being overloaded, but wrongly connected. And not only wrongly connected, without even earth. And electricity goes with earthing.
Yes.
That earth will remedy the danger and the sparks that may happen. So, you know, in the Gambia, Cham, it's hard to say, but everybody is a profession of all. That's our main problem. If you go to NAWEC, you order for a meter, you are given the meter still remain properties of NAWEC. You should not touch or extend any load from the meter or on the meter without consulting NAWEC, and NAWEC sending their experts to know exactly where this line is heading to. But we Gambians, we always look at the easy way. And at the same time, if I am to address the issue of these fires all over, we must look at the material we are using also. Our cables, our bulbs, our safe energy bulbs are far below standard. Are they really examined before they get into the country? I'm not sure. But I can think that they are not examined. Are they compatible with our frequency, our electric supply? I'm not sure, but I don't think if that have been done. So you will see most of these fires happening in our homes. My own brother experienced his whole compound, was born to dust. You know what I mean? And with my little experience, I believe it's the bulb. The kind of bulb we are having, we call it how to call it again, safe energy. And that safe energy, at the end of the day, is consuming all your energy. So really, you have to address also the kind of infrastructure you have in our markets. A market without access. A market where it was, planned for 5 shops. At the end of the day, it become 200 shops. And in the front of the shops and the canteens, you find more commodities on wheelbarrows, people setting their tables, so disorganized, so badly arranged, and nobody, no authority is ready to take this stand because running out of blame. Gambia, we have to stop running from our responsibility, running to be blamed. We have to take our responsibilities. Position goes with responsibilities, position goes with blame. If you are not willing to take the blame, you are not willing to take the responsibility. Don't take up yourself as a mayor or as a local authority or even as any position, because positions goes with blame. Thank you.
Good, we'll come to more. Mr. Sala, yes, we're still on the Basse, possible causes and possible lessons we can learn to avoid this thing. From what you heard over the 3 days or so, what did you take?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Cham, for having me, and thank you to Kerfatu as well. As my brother alluded to, NAWEC, I think the main problem is central government, it's government. What he said is true. I think our problem is standard. We don't value ourselves, that capacity. You know, we import everything in this country and we use it without being experienced. So look at, I had the fire service PRO said there is no hydrant, fire hydrants in the market. At the market. So if you construct a market, you know, and you have a fire service, a place like Basse, the entire URD. So you have only one loading place in Basse, that is at the fire service, at the fire station. So if you have this one tank at the station, you went and use it. By the time you get back to the station again, I think, how to call it, individually you have a problem, but I think collectively government is the fault of government. Look at the Serekunda market, for example. There is no way where if there's an incident that the fire service can access inside the market. No. If you are constructing a market like Serekunda, how populated that area is, you cannot build a road where if this is an incident, the fire service can access to that properly, easily. So that's ridiculous. That is the fault of this government. Even the fire service will tell you, we don't have, if you look at the order of the same from Tontable up to Gunjur, you have only one fire, one point where they can pick water. Only one point, look at that.
I see.
The entire KMC is not more than 3. How many fire stations do you have? And the other factor is, we need to, I one time had the mayor of KMC inviting the business community and the government within the KMC region to come and discuss to see how they will come together and name streets in this country. An example, if there's a fire in Bundung, you have the fire service as Church's Town. Bundung, which part of Bundung? You should explain that big tree, the other house, the other directions.
They will not know exactly.
This we have passed that stage now. Government should come in and do something. And what Mr. Commissioner said, we too as individuals, we are a problem. If you go to a market now, one stall is allocated with 1 meter. So somebody will come and give me $200. Then I'll connect you. And when I connect you, somebody will come to me, where I connected, will connect another person again. Then these are things that we need to think about. Because at the end of the day, this little thing that you have can cost you, can cost you whatever you have.
Exactly.
And secondly, again, all these fires that has happened, they say investigation, but the public, maybe internally, but the public, people don't know exactly what caused the fire, what happened. Because the problem of this country is nobody is held to account for your responsibility or for your action. Nobody, regardless. Even if you are completely at fault, even the head of the institution, they will not. Because of this Maslahat syndrome, we have to go away from it if you want to move as a country.
Let's talk about the reactions. The government, the people, and then of course there are concerns that people might just be politicizing this thing, and the government, the president himself said, this is not a moment to politicize, this is a national tragedy. But there are commentators who said, both Mama Kande, President Barrow, Ousseynou Dabo, all went there to make political actions by donating monies supposedly to boost their political sympathy among the people there. Is that all nonsense, Nima?
I just want to start from where he stopped as far as blame to be levied on the central government. I think where we can blame the government here is the failure to set standards, and I think we have discussed this prior to this incident concerning other incidents that preceded it. Is that where, as far as building structures are concerned, especially structures like the market and how to equip those structures, standards must be in place. All the institutions within the central government are responsible for this, must set clear standards, and they must be monitored to protect lives and properties, because that is the basic responsibility of any central government in place. But also, when things like this happen, there are also institutions. There is a government institution that needs to respond strategically by assessing what happened and by putting in place mechanisms to rebuild in order to prevent a reoccurrence. If there should be any sort of response, it must be channeled through that.
In this case, the National Disaster Management Agency.
And so when I see people responding, I question, what are you responding to by just giving money to whom? To what activity? Into what is that going to be spent, for example? So anybody can give any amount of money, but who are you giving that money to? How is it going to be expended? How is it going to prevent, how is it going to provide to rebuild the lives of those people who have lost their properties in this tragedy? And also, how is that going to prevent a reoccurrence in case that a building gets erected again, called the market, and people resume their activities, but then what had caused this fire has not necessarily been dealt with?
Imam, you had the responses. Nima is suggesting that perhaps National Disaster Management Agency would have been the best place, that all these donors would have channeled their monies to all the government institutions. But if they come as a person, Ousseynou Dabo said, I have given $400 on behalf of UDP himself, Mama Kande rushed to the scene even before the fire was put out and said, I have won $200. And now he said, Mr. Barrow came and said, I have $2 million here for you. For who? his own behalf.
Well,
is this the kind of response that you expect from leaders in this kind of disasters?
Well, before I come to that,
yeah,
I want to respond to
Mr.
Salah by setting up like the blame is to the government. Allow me to disagree with him.
Exactly.
In the sense that a government of 3 years cannot be blamed on the market of 200 years.
Yeah, when he said government, it doesn't necessarily
wait a minute.
It doesn't necessarily this government.
Don't answer for me.
Okay.
Let me talk for myself.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. These markets are older than these governments, including Sadauda's government.
That's right.
So, and if you say a government, in the real definition, we are all part of the government.
Exactly.
You understand? So I think we need to fine-tune the word blaming government, because we are all responsible and we are all part of this very government. And we all know, if we mean government, those who are paid by government and employed by government, we know those people cannot go every day monitoring how the market is run. We ourselves, what I strongly believe is that we Gambians, we have to take our responsibility as citizens and then to understand that whatever is good for this country is good for all of us, regardless to your party affiliation or to your tribal affiliation or to your religious affiliation. So being the case, we can work it out well, rather than saying something wrong and you keep quiet about it, or you want to use it against any political party or government you want to. We should raise beyond that. So I know the markets and I know how they are built. This was colonial markets, and most of the canteens that installed there, they are built by the owners of the stall themselves. Just like previously how we build our houses. You just go to the alkali, he shows you where you need to build your house, you build your house without even the physical planning, something like that. And still, not all of us respect physical planning. Some of us can construct an infrastructure without even having the approval of the authorities concerned. Are we to blame everything to government? Then what is our take?
Yeah, but what does the government do when you fail to comply with that?
So are you the one who informed the government, or the government themselves found it as it is and trying to work it out? I'm not holding anybody's briefcase, but I want us to share the blame, so that we'll get to a conclusion. Good. Okay, for your contribution that this, let us understand, these people are politicians. Name them. Being Bakarida, being how to call it, Senu Dabo, be it Mama Kande, Adama Barrow, be it Bakari Dabo, be it OJ, be it anybody, all politicians. And politicians, naturally, their priority is their party.
Yes.
You know, so whatever can raise the name of their parties, they'll run for it.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? Yeah. But at the end of the day, also...
But and then, ironically, they said we must not politicize it. And you've just said that one of the reasons that motivate them to make these actions quickly was to get
but if you're
political
talking about
capital.
even politicians...
No, let's follow him. It's his turn.
No, I just want to...
It's his turn.
Let him buy
My point,
okay.
You preach responsibility here. So even as politicians, they have a responsibility towards people.
Quite well.
And also there is another person who politicized this matter, who is not just a politician but the head of the state. And we expected that his contribution to this will be more strategic and not just any ordinary.
Well, he has the biggest contribution, $2 million.
Exactly.
But let me reframe it this way. I am not protecting or defending the president of but the mere fact that you mentioned the word politics, you are politicking. That's the reality. At times you find somebody, an imam should not politic. At that very word, you are politicking.
I see.
Politics is part of life. Politics is part of humanity. But what we are talking about, negative politics.
Yes.
You understand? Or a politics that separates us.
Detrimental to national.
That is detrimental to national development.
I see.
But politics, I mean, it's within our blood.
It's acceptable.
Exactly, it's acceptable.
Yes.
So if we are to politicize for a positive reason,
that's
like Mama Kande went and gave out $200,000.
Yes.
Dabo came with $400,000.
Yeah.
2 million.
Yes.
I wish somebody will come and bring billion. You understand? That is a positive politics contribution of development, which everybody should appreciate, because we must understand that we are either part of the problem or we be the solution of the problem. So these people, they have already shown us, all of them, that they will be part of the solution. So what is the general public now role here? It's for us to be very much positive about their actions, because for the politicians, especially the party leaders, they rarely voice out anything negative to the public. But it's the fans and the supporters and the awareness. Those are the dangerous people. Thank you.
Now, you might suggesting that, okay, perhaps there's you are concerned that the politicking is acceptable as long as it doesn't affect the national interest or national cause. There is a National Disaster Management Agency. Probably what would have been proper, Mr. Dabo, Mr. Kande, and Mr. Barrow, is to say, okay, we have donated this sum on behalf of ourselves or our party to the National Disaster Management Agency for an emergency fund for Basse Market. And not just this from the UDP, this from Imam Kande of GMC, and President Barrow, of course, of NPP, you would say. So he's saying that, as he's saying, perhaps it would have been better to avoid any suspicion of political politicking, to channel it through the national institution.
But Mr. Chairman, are you telling me the money will not be...
No, nobody's saying
that. No, wait a minute. No,
nobody's saying
because the money giving it to Mr. A or Mr. B or Group D or Group C doesn't stop the money to go to National Disaster Management. It's a matter of channeling and publicizing.
It's a matter of getting publicity.
Exactly.
Before I get
because they are publicity. Politicians need publicity.
So at the end of it is...
At the end of the day, it can be paid to the account of the national. So let us not jump and decide the money is still going to their hands.
Nobody said that.
No, nobody said that, but that's what you...
No, what people said. Why do I have to take credit?
Let me clarify, because I raised this. Let me clarify. There's nothing wrong with people wanting to help. And we need to make that very clear. If I have money to help, I will help. And whether you're a politician or not, we understand this. But my point is, if you take advantage, as politicians are currently doing, take advantage of something that is as tragic as this, what you're taking away is focus from what really needs to be done. That's my point.
Absolutely.
Right? Because first of all, right now, what we need to be doing is reflecting on what went wrong, how to respond to it constructively to avert a reoccurrence. But as it is now, it has become about who gives the bigger amount of money.
Exactly.
It's the president who gives 2 million, UDP gives this amount. So that's where the focus is now. And it also takes away the agency and the power that state institutions must have or could have to respond to national disasters the way that they are supposed to. If everything were to channel through that institution, after they have done their assessment and put out strategies to say, this is how we're going to do this, this is the amount of money we need, then we can all come and contribute. But if you're contributing for politics' sake, that's where the problem is from.
So it's not the donation, the contribution that matters, but the whole abaloo is why we don't just give it out and said we have done this.
I'll come back to that a little later. I want to get to what my brother have said. We have to blame government, because government comes and goes. The APR PVP government, when it was toppled in 1994, Jammeh came and started where he took over. All the revenues collected by the previous government never gone back to the previous government members. It's only the ministers and Jawara who left. But the permanent secretaries, down how to go to the public servant, they are still there. When Jammeh left, Barrow came in. Barrow only came in with his ministers and maybe ambassadors. But the permanent secretaries who were there, they were still there. Now, government has a duty of care. If government fail their duty, then it is our responsibility as taxpayers to hold them to account. So we are blaming them because they did not provide. He said the markets were colonial markets. If Jawara built markets or inherited markets from the colonial masters, and he was there with it, Jammeh came in and still continuing with those markets that Jawara inherited, and he didn't do anything. And Barrow came in now, he don't want to do anything again for 3 good years. Automatically, then they will be blamed. Because government comes and goes, but the people remain. We the taxpayers and we the public servants that are employed by the government on behalf of the people, they are our servants. We are paying their salaries. So we will blame them if they are to be blamed. Market, if you are constructing a market, this Serekunda market was constructed during Jammeh's time, but they never thought of there should be a disaster. Let's create a way where the fire service can access, and we put a hydrant in the market where they can load their tanks. That was never done. And the fire service are a keen listener to their weekly program at Peter Gomez FM. They complained this, wallahi, since last year. I've been following. They complained this. I personally went up to the fire service and spoke to them about it. They said, we can only complain, but we are not decision makers. If the Minister of Interior knows exactly what's the problem of the fire service, he will address it. So we have to blame them. Now this market in Basse, the market was there. Barrow came in for the last 3 years. But Barrow didn't do anything. Barrow knows what the problem of the fire service. And honestly, the government knows this very, very well. Because it has been in the papers. On a weekly basis or on a daily basis, we can't say government is not aware. Government is aware. And coming back to this political thing.
The response.
Let's be how to call it, have a second thought here. Every division or every region is headed by a governor. And each governor has what we call a task force. We have the area council. We have the chairman and the CEO of the area council. They have market committees. They have internal committees that are responsible to supervise and monitor the activities of the market. And this council collect taxes from those people. So there are committees. We have the National Disaster Management Agency, and every division they have a representative. In every division. So this representative coordinates on behalf of the management from the main office in Banjul. So for instance, if there is a problem in Basse Market, if I want to donate, why can I go through the governor? Mama can go in there, but I don't see a government official. I don't see the governor there. I don't see him there. Because if the governor is there, he's a Mama Kande supporter. You understand? When they came there, I don't see the governor there. Because if he is there, they'll say he's a governor. He's a UDP supporter. He's a UDP supporter. I saw some.
So who did Barrow give his money to in this case?
Well, I don't know. I just saw Mama Kande with this ball of money, be handed over to somebody. Whether that money will transmit to the right authorities. That's a question that we cannot answer. You understand? But if they went
did he give his money to who?
I don't know, but definitely on the TV, I saw this money from Mama Kande. Yes. And been handed over to somebody. The camera were taking it. But who was this person? Is he an employee of the area council? Is he a member of the committee set up by the market or the governor or to look at to supervise and coordinate this disaster management thing? What is the function of the disaster management? What is their function? What is that? This is an act of parliament. Every disaster in this country should go through them. Once you disregard them, automatically means you are not doing the right thing. Whether it's the president or whether it's or whether whoever it is. Even personally, if I want to do it, the proper procedure and channel. If you don't want to be fair or if you want to politicize it, please contact the governor.
So now, finally on the issue of Basse, what lessons do we learn? What is going to happen to these poor people whose goods perish in the time being? They said the president said there's going to be an urgent intervention to build a first-class market. Perhaps all these considerations that both you and Imam raised would have been in place in this standardized market that the president is talking about. But in the interim, how can we really remedy these people's plights? Starting from Imam, what would you see would have been better?
Well, thank you once again, Cham. I think not blowing my own trumpet, but my mosque have been known very well, stepping in all this kind of problem when they happen, because we have our disaster management also in our mosque, and I always preach to raise funds to help. When Banjul Market was born years ago, we contributed at that time to our level. We collected 2 Fridays and take it to the mayor of Banjul then. And the Serekunda Market, we did the same. And recently 2 of our neighbors' houses were born, and then we did the same. And in fact, yesterday I did mention to my mosque committee to sensitize people when they are coming next 2 Fridays to bring something to help. So what I'm saying here is, let us not leave supporting this or rescuing this situation only in the hands of politicians. We have a role also to play, and no amount is small. No amount is small. No material is small. What is important here is the feeling and to empathize with those who are victims of this fire. So really, I will urge the whole communities of the Gambia, and even those who have the facility, who are out of the Gambia, to contribute and send it. And channel it, as Mr. Sala said, the right channel.
Well, in fact, not as we have now got confirmation that the monies were all handed over to the governor and the national development agencies. All three contributions.
You see, this is what I was saying.
Yes.
Because we should avoid jumping before the gun.
Yeah.
It's always dangerous, and this is Gambian attitude.
Yeah.
When anything happen, you will see the kind of prejudice that we always have, especially in our leaders. You will even see the Imam going to buy bread at the bakery at night. You don't think of he's going to look for a bread, but he's going to a girl. I'm telling you, Gambians, we are always prejudiced against our leaders.
Okay.
So we are always prejudiced against our wives, our sisters, which is time for us to stop.
Okay.
It's time for us to start thinking positively. It is time for us to guide our leaders.
Okay.
When they goes wrong, let us not only be out and be talking about it. Let us try and address it properly, of course, with respect.
Good. Now we've got all our worries are now relaxed, because we have got that the monies were duly handed over to the governor and representatives of the National Management Development Agency. So
they are not. I feel like we're missing a point. Maybe we are not doing a good job explaining, or I am doing not doing a good job explaining my point.
What is your worry now? The money is given to the NDA.
That's not the point. I'm just going to start from the question you asked. What lessons to be learned from there?
Yes, that's right. And how do we
reiterate what I meant? First of all, I think it's about time we do reflection. We understand how to prevent, but also how to respond. Resource mobilization and rebuilding is always the last resort. You want to build on a strong foundation. If the foundation is missing, and that's where my point was, the resource mobilization came on a missing foundation. The missing foundation here is there had been fire outbreaks in the past. We rush to respond. We provide money to beneficiaries. At the end of the day, it doesn't prevent reoccurrence from elsewhere. I'm not saying we can stop it, but we can do something about it. First, what we need to do is to invest in the institutions that are built to provide the standard in the way that we build our structures and how we equip them. We need to do that. That also includes the fire service, how they respond. Are they equipped enough to respond in earnest, but also to minimize the damage that is caused when fire outbreaks happen?
Exactly.
We need to be able to invest on those. We need to be able to understand what causes these fire outbreaks. Our responses, are they adequate?
Okay.
What equipments are missing? What mechanisms are not in place, so that we put those in place? My point also about resource mobilization is that when you build a castle on a sand, you know it's going to fall. You can say, I have the resources. Every time I'm able to mobilize resources and rebuild, but you know you're going to keep rebuilding. And that's the point. And my point with rushing to give money is, what you're doing with that is, you are not necessarily focusing on what needs to be done institutionally, especially if it is done by the government. First of all, you need to accept where your failure is. Remedy those failures. You don't necessarily need to give resources, but if you have to give resources, it has to be given on a strong foundation first, so when it is being rebuilt, we are going to have a strong structure that may not necessarily fall into.
Fantastic. So now, before we move on to the next topic, all right, President Barrow, we now want to clarify, because there are issues like people saying he might have donated $270,000 or whatever. It's now clear that he donated $2 million to the disaster, the fire disaster victims or whatever agency. Now we know National Disaster Management Agency, the UDP through Mr. Barrow, Mr. Dabo, 400,000, and Mama Kande, 200,000. So we thank all those three for their contributions. We're moving now on to another topic, of course, the reopening of the two radio stations that have been closed in the wake of the 3 years Jotna demonstration, January the 26th. Now, we understand, of course, the closing of the radio, or suspension, as the government initially said, was ordered by the police, and we were investigating, according to government officials. But now, last week we heard there was a mediation by the National Human Rights Commission, and that led to a discussion between the Gambia Press Union, the government, and that resulted in the reopening of the 2 radio stations, as well as the dropping of charges of incitement on the 2 operators of those radios. Now, one of the institutions, like I said, who mediated that is the National Human Rights Commission, of which Mr. Imam Babali is commissioner. Now, I'll begin this question straight to Imam Babali. Now we have complete, I hope, resolution of this crisis of the radios. Let me ask you, how did it all come about? How did your commission get involved?
Well, the commission get involved long before even the close of the radios. Because as you may know, it's part of the mandate of the commission to mediate and to reconcile.
In all issues?
In all issues and for everybody.
For everybody.
That's our mandate.
Okay.
So when there was a plan to demonstrate, to go on the streets, and we are part of the society, we are listening radios, social media and everything.
Exactly.
We feel it is important to talk to the people who are concerned. What we first did is we invited the 3-year Jotna meeting. We have a long meeting with them, all their executives, those who are in the country, and we gave them advice after listening to them. Whatever they may going to do, let us take due process and let it be within the frame of the law of the land. And that was agreed. But we didn't stop from there also. We visited also the Inspector General of Police. We have a long chat with him, with his team also. And we have listened to him and we gave him our advice as well. And as you know, we just celebrated our 1 year since we were sworn in.
Yes, yes.
And then we seized the opportunity also to update the president about the activities and the challenges that this commission have. And within that, we also give him our advice. So you will see the National Human Rights Commission had never been relaxed to this is our concern.
All right.
So when the demonstration happened, the first time it was very peaceful and it ended well. So the second time there was where the problem comes, and that resulted to closing radios and the like. But we were still continue advice. So as you may know, the National Human Rights Commission is divided to 5 thematic areas, and one of the thematic areas, that is mediation and reconciliation, and that fall on my portfolio.
Okay.
So I was continuing to negotiate, to talk to people concerned. I visited the prison, I spoke to them in my own way, as you may know, not only a commissioner, but I'm a religious person too.
Exactly.
And part of our religion is to reconcile and to
resolve this
for peace and to resolve problems. So I met their lawyer and we have spoken very well and was very positive. But what actually initiated this intervention, we were already in it.
Okay, all right.
But we had a letter from Democracy Watch, the Gambia office, that led 2 complaints to the commission. And when we got a meeting at our level as commissioners, we decided that we should write to the Ministry of Justice, which we did.
What were the concerns of this Democracy Watch?
Well, Democrats, what their concern was mainly the closure of the 2 radios and the charges to the journalists. That's why when we called them, when we wrote to the Minister of Justice, and we contacted the Minister of Information also because of the journalism involved.
Exactly, yeah.
And we invited them to have a meeting with them, and we invited GPU also,
Gambia
Press Union. And alhamdulillah, they all attended, and they attended positively. And we raised up matters, because really it's a solution we are looking for. It's not a matter of winning or losing.
Yes.
When anybody win, the whole country win. When anybody lose, the whole country lose. And that we can only have it within the frame of peace, tranquility and discussion, rather than being violent or otherwise. So they all came, and when they came, our chairman opened the meeting, and we listened to Minister of Justice, we listened to the Minister of Information, and we listened to the President of the Press Teachers Union also. I think Mr. Bojang
Junior.
Yeah, he's no longer a junior. He's a big man.
No, there is another. Since it started 20 years ago, we use this to differentiate them.
Yeah, so I'm trying to eradicate, because he's no longer young.
He's no longer young, but he's a junior as far as the elder one is there.
No, they all can be maintained as gentlemen.
Okay.
So really, that is what initiated this discussion. And at the end of the day, we all were able to speak on one voice, and we all were able to come on one page, and then the government also has given the authority to reopen without any condition and drop the charges. So really, we feel that is part of our role.
Exactly.
And we'll continue doing that as far as we are in the commission. And if we are not in the commission, we are in our pulpits. We can continue doing that. Thank you.
Oh, commendable, Imam. But then you really raise the issues that you do not want to be bothered with who was wrong, who was right, and many people want to believe that there has to be an indication of what went wrong so that we can avoid the future.
Justice.
So didn't you find it really valid for your commission to highlight where things went wrong?
Well, I think as a principle of negotiation, when you started a negotiation and it's not yet ended, you cannot jump to a conclusion and say Mr. A is wrong, Mr. B is right.
Okay.
Then you will not have the listening patient again from them. So as far as the process is on, allow us to complete our job, and we are with you here. Whenever we are ready, we will come again and tell you what is the conclusion.
Okay.
That's our procedure.
Okay, so the objective is to have it solved, and then after you come back to say, Mr. Expert, you were wrong. You were wrong in this case.
Well, if it is necessary,
yes,
we will. Okay. But if it is not necessary, we will not. Because at the end of the day, what all Gambians want to see is that Gambia to move forward.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Commendable. What's your take? At least they have managed to reopen the radios, charges have been dropped.
Exactly. And I think the commission as a new creation needs to be commended for that. That's an accomplishment. First of all, I'm always excited when democracy wins. If things go wrong, they must be turned around. And the turnaround happened when the 2 radio stations were reopened and charges were dropped. But, and I'm going to say a but, because I know we're speaking from different perspectives. We know that the Human Rights Commission was set up not only to mediate, but also to provide oversight. And these are things that involves rights, and rights cannot be negotiated. Rights are not being negotiated. Rights are meant to be safeguarded and to be protected. And if radio stations are closed for what they do, what they are mandated to do, even when the government doesn't necessarily find favors with the things that have been said about them, and that has to be acceptable. You don't have to agree with everything that has been said. You know that it is businesses that have closed, and there are people who have temporarily lost their jobs, and these are people that needed to feed their families. So rights have been violated. And as an oversight body, we expect that moving forward, the government will be made to understand that they have violated rights and to seek remedies for these violations.
Good.
I think that's the only thing I wanted to add.
Mrs. Sarah, you followed the whole brouhaha. Now there's a really peaceful and very impressive conclusion that at least the radio is reopened. What is your take on it?
Actually, as lecturer have said, we commend the commission for a job well done. But still now again, we need to try to prevent such things. Whatever the 2 radio stations have done, the way they were closed, I feel that was not proper. Whether the proper procedure was taken before they were closed, or whatever have transpired before they were reopened. And as he said, people were working there and their families, their survival depends entirely on the work that they do. And this radio station, they pay their license, they pay their taxes to the state. So automatically something wrong has gone. So what can we do to prevent this from happening? Or when it happens again, what are you going to do in order for those people who lost their temporal earning, what can be done for them to reimburse or compensate it, if at all they were closed illegally. In this case, government just came in with their own press release, and you can't just sit down from nowhere and just make a press release that this thing has been closed. you know, for a reason just best known to you. You know, so definitely it's something that we need to look at again.
Yeah. Imam, I know we were constrained, you know, not to discuss the substantive matter in court about the 3 years judgment, but you mentioned you had interacted with them and their lawyers, you know, even before the permit and demonstration was shared. Are you thinking of perhaps launching another mediation that will lead to the dropping of charges against the leaders?
Well, Mr. Cham, you know, really, what my sister and my brother said,
yes,
all those things are in our consideration.
Okay, okay.
And we are discussing. And compensation can be anything just to get the satisfaction of, if there is anybody offended, to satisfy him with all that has happened.
Okay.
So we are in line with them, and we are working day in, day out to reach the conclusion.
Okay.
Okay, concerning
3 years judgment,
the 3 years judgment issue, they are Gambians. They have their rights. And right is a divine giving, it's a God-given thing. And in as much as they has their rights, others also has their rights. So their negotiation comes. So we are going to engage them more than ever to make sure we push this country forward rather than creating obstacles. Because any obstacles for this country will not benefit any one of us.
Absolutely.
You understand? So that's why I really beg for the indulgence of everybody and positive thinking of how can we pass this situation. Because if you think about what has happened for the last 3 months, there is no, I mean, very limited progress in this country.
Exactly. Yeah.
All our energy is geared to
Demonstration.
issues like this, demonstrations, stopping demonstrations, setting fire up here and there, and the like, and that will not help us. And as a matured country, and we need to be matured, taking it from Sadauda, from Jammeh, up to if we are not matured now, we will never be matured again. We have to learn more than enough. So really, we realize that what we need is discussion. What we need is dialogue. We need national dialogue that will involve everybody. We are all stakeholders for this country. Nobody is irrelevant. Everybody is relevant. So we are working in that, and we'll continue negotiating. And there are a lot of things in our table. You know, recently I was invited, I was representing the commission at the GRTS again. What the journalist first told me is, hey, Imam, you guys, your hands are wrapped. You will not be able to say anything.
Wow.
You know, and then he started raising questions. I told him, yes, it's wonderful, but I can only answer your question when we are on air.
Wow. Yes.
Because I understand
yes.
we are doing so many things that the public doesn't
know about, yes.
You know, and we have done so many things, and we are yet to do what we should do, because we'll never be able to complete.
Yes, what you.
And then the democracy is very, I mean, uncomfortable to leaders. That is very well known.
That's everyone knows it.
And the democracy, especially to people who came from where we came, as the proverb said in Wolof, "Picha bu musta now."
Wow, wunawe.
And that's what happened. Most of us are so excited of right here, there, and the like. But what we need really is to manage it and to put it to its right perspective, where we can all be benefited. Because there is nothing more enjoyable than having your right and enjoy it.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, finally, we're going to the TRRC and we wrap up the program. There have been more revelations about from the ex-president Stewart particularly, and other people who have talked about how they have suffered, you know, during the regime of Jammeh. But particularly before that, there are issues which I would like to take advantage of and sound Mr. Imam Leigh's sound. There were issues like whether the TRRC actually have got more than they bargained for themselves when they really traded into areas like religions. Let me ask you, Imam Leigh, the TRRC lead counsel came under attack for attacking Islam. He replied that his objective was not attacking in Islam, but finding out whether anybody have used religion to violate some other people's rights, and who are they? If you want to really reflect on what you have had, and that's taking yourself out as a victim, just to speak clearly and freely on the matter, is TRRC going too far, really, in their addressing of religious matters?
I don't get your question still.
Can
you simplify it?
I will simplify it. The TRRC really came under attack, as they've always come under attack on issues, but this one particularly on religious matters. Many people felt that they were going too far in questioning, Islam and religious leaders on that matter. What did you understand from what happened?
Well, first and foremost, don't ever mistake and call me Imam Fati.
Imam Leigh. Well, Imam Fati had been in the news.
Imam Fati is a Kabunka.
He's a Kabunka, so and you are a follower.
Thank you.
He will say you are his son.
No, he
always have a way of fighting back.
They are not.
So mark your words.
He know. In fact, I'm his grandfather.
Okay.
Well, one thing, charm is our problem. We, the religious leaders or the Islamic scholar, some of us pretend to own the religion and take up the responsibility to decide for others what is their limitation. And that's not right in my view. Some of us went to an extent even to describe those who are going to heaven and those who are going to hell. Some of us has that kind of attitude. That wherever they preach those who are going to hell and those who are going to heaven and the like.
Which no man can determine.
Which no one can determine. You can only preach what is in the book. And nobody has the right to go beyond the book. And now, with the help of spread of knowledge and education, this book is no longer a guest to anybody. Whatever language you have. And those whom they see, who have been seen as westernly educated, or as they call it,
yeah.
Some of us feel they have no right to talk about Islam or to talk about Islamic jurisprudence. And when they say, no, that's not right, keep quiet. That's not right. So really, as far as I'm concerned, the TRRC, 95% of the representation, they are Muslims. And this book belongs to them. Belongs to their prophet.
Yes.
So they have the right to examine certain issues that they are seeing. If what they read in the book and what they hear from the hadith is completely different with what is implemented in their society, I think they have the right to raise questions. It depends to where the question is directed. We should be in the position to answer. You understand?
Exactly.
So really, with me, I don't feel in any way that the TRRC has gone beyond their mandate. Because their mandate is clear. We all know their mandate.
Absolutely.
And they are within their mandate. And I heard some people saying, no, they will never hold the Quran and so on.
Yes, all those are issues there.
All those are issues.
Yeah.
And now that's what you claim to believe. That is what you claim to trust. Some are asking people to sign on the Constitution. You understand? So I think all those things is just to set up certain obstacle and make things to be more clumsy to people, which is not helpful. So here I will use this platform to call all religious people. Let's set our differences aside and see our country as number one. Because number one, we are human beings before being Muslims. We are Gambians before being Muslims.
Yes.
Islam recognizes us and accepts us as Muslims when we are almost age of 18, age of maturity. So really, I believe it is time for us now not to allow anybody to confuse us or to hide behind the shadow of Islam and implement their political goals or their needs. It's high time for us to, graduate from that level, Mr. Chan.
Nima, too sensitive a letter for you?
Not necessarily.
You never shy away from issues anyway.
Really? You have to speak your mind.
Yes.
I agree completely with what Imam Babali said. The TRRC has one objective only, is to probe into violations of human rights abuses that have occurred in this country from a period to a certain period. And if somebody, regardless of your religious belief, is involved or has been accused to be involved in those violations, the TRRC has a mandate to probe into that. And I agree completely that violations had happened and religion was at the center of it. And I have said this on this platform before, just beyond individual culpability, we also have an opportunity now to reflect on the relationship between religion and state, to understand where people can abuse their powers either from these two realms, from the state and from religion, by capitalizing on their relationship with other members of any of this realm. And those who have appeared on the TRRC were very instrumental in the abuse and in these opportunities that have now sprung up for us to reflect on, to see moving forward, do we need a separation, a clear separation between state and religion, and whether or not we need instruments to govern institutions that represent or that claim to represent the general members of any faith that is in existence.
So she's saying that, and those who allegedly violated other people's rights through religions were only able to do that because the government did not separate its role from religion role.
No, absolutely, that's very, very true. To be honest, the Supreme Islamic Council was very, very close to the previous government. Very, very close indeed. And the fundamental reason why, even the current Islamic Council is having a problem with the just newly emerged one.
Yeah, that's the majlis.
Yes, there's a personal thing that one or two or people are benefiting. So we have to again separate between the state and religion. We have to do that. I have seen and read a lot of stories against the late council in respect of this members of the Supreme Islamic Council who appeared before the commission. His primary aim is to find out whether people violated their rights due to religion. And definitely, we all know what actually happens during the last 22 years. People have been preaching in mosques, in gatherings, in public religions, against other ethnic, or other religions group, So I think when it comes to the state, definitely the state have nothing to do, and definitely people use their personal opportunities because they are very, very close to the state, and they want us to undermine other people who may be taken as who are absolutely against the state. So we have to understand that, and this attack on the TRRC is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Finally, we have had revelations, of course, but was any one of you surprised when you heard that former President Jammeh actually call or find ways or watch videos of people being tortured? Were you surprised when you heard his steward said that?
Sorry?
Are you surprised when you heard his steward said in some of the torture sessions involving individuals who might have, who went underwent torture, the former president is alleged to have either personally monitored or enjoy watching people or listening to people being tortured?
Well, I don't know who will be surprised, but not me.
Well, of course, you and I will. I want to keep the regard of this steward who cooked for him, who eventually fell, victim, and was illegally detained, etc., said things that were unheard of, because they may have been heard of, but this one says, so telling that people were surprised when they learned that one, we might have even drink concussions through NAWEC, distribution of water works. He made such allegations. Were you surprised when he said these things?
I'm saying I will never surprise that President Jammeh did anything painful to human being or even to animals. Absolutely. Look, here's a guy that I knew long before he became the president.
Yes.
He was working at Kotopo Station.
Yeah, it was
during the Zandam days.
Zandam days, yeah.
And he used to, how to call it again, punch a cat and enjoy the way the cat turn over and do. He's somebody, he's heartless. And he enjoyed punishing people. In fact, I am told when we were being tortured, there is a CC camera at their torture chamber to his room direct.
That's what the steward said.
Yeah, and I seem to believe that because you can see, and I'm told even there are certain issues he or even participate. You know what I mean? He's kind of person. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just praying to the Almighty Allah to forgive him.
Forgive him. Nima, I was surprised particularly when the steward said...
I don't think surprise is the word you're looking for. I think, is it believable? We have heard these stories before. Whatever is being said here is now just a confirmation of what we have heard. We have heard stories about President Jammeh putting concoction into Nawek water tank.
Two water tanks.
Exactly. These stories were rife in this country.
Absolutely.
Right? We have heard stories about replaying of videos where he released or he get excited by other people suffering. And President Jammeh has been described in so many occasions on TRRC as being a sociopath. You cannot put anything beyond what a sociopath can do. So I believe it's just a reconfirmation of the stories that we have heard before. And this wouldn't be the first or the last time.
And the steward said some personal things like he wouldn't go to sleep early, with all that he was paranoid that somebody would attack him and stuff like that.
But he told you, he already said it. He said Jammeh is somebody who is average. So you know, and what he said is very true. That if your whole life is to do dirty things to people, at the end of the day, you are thinking that these people that I am doing these things to are people who are very close to me. If I kick them out, other people come. If they go, what do you think they will do? They will try and find a way to come and revenge. So because of that, he was suspicious of nobody. Jammeh don't trust anybody. He don't trust nobody. And once you are with him for a few years or a few months, he no more trust. He'll kick you out and bring
That's what the steward
said. So
said.
if you kick those people, you kick about 10, 20 people, and you still want to cement yourself in power. So automatically you not sleep. Because if you sleep, somebody will come and do something similar to what you have done, or what you have witnessed.
So in other words, if you abuse power, you are afraid to lose it.
Absolutely.
You know, really, for Jammeh is a special creation of the Almighty. Really, and I had never seen. You know.
But you see, there's something else the steward said. He said, what surprises him was that here was somebody who would take people to Mecca, change people's life, you know, in a matter of, in a twinkle of an eye, and here is somebody who also will subject people to torture and death. He said he couldn't remember a same person couldn't do that.
That is his specialities. You know, naturally he's a fake from the word go. Whatever he does, he doesn't mean it.
He calculated.
He had never done something that he don't calculate. Normally he calculates whatever good thing he does, he do. Just allow him a few minutes. Yes. You will see the reason. Whatever he say. And he's not somebody who do things and keep quiet.
Yes, he will.
You know, that's why investigating him is very easy.
Very easy.
You just go to the YouTube. Yes. If he said, you will be buried 9 feet deep, he meant it.
He meant it.
I mean, even the will not eat your body.
Yes.
He meant it because you will be eaten by maybe crocodiles. He mean it. He's somebody who whatever he say, but he will do it. So really, I think it is time for us to close his file. And go ahead. Seriously, he's not that we should not give him more importance than we already.
Well, I think it's on that note that we will close the file on this edition of the Brunch. Thank you very much, Imam Babali from the National Human Rights Commission, and like he said, he's one of the most prominent imams, religious leaders in the country. Mr. Kaku Salah, who is here today, somebody with a lot of backgrounds on so many instances, but then he's here on his capacity as a private citizen, Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. And Nyuma Kamara, a lecturer of political science at the University of the Gambia, thank you very much for being a co-analyst. To you all, thank you very much. Until we come back next Saturday, enjoy the rest of the weekend.
ñoo ak yéen rek skincare plus nara jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5 star jas na la 5 star jas na mooy jas na bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo tube but bu la neexee ñu tuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la. We're not all about skin. We are skin, care, and the plus does come in so many different ways.
Welcome.
Basically, lot of Lalanko is cool, man, and I can really relax.
What the madam?
Yeah,
what the madam?
Yeah.
What doesn't mind?
That's right.
Grand Villa. We love the Naduna, Munantana, Grand Villa.
That's fine.
Sorry. Yes. No.
Yeah, actually, lot of people are basically very relaxed. So it's kind of an amazing
You have a mission one. Media, Nina Grand Villa is the best guest house in the Gambia.
Beji and the Grand Villa Guesthouse. Na labung baby sefiaring adu na bung baby nyarandirum komin ibela fila ila suwe taranyame. Mutel Grand Villa na kilianu na lafino wana mukawatin telkam. Na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fakalamuta.
Kunde Hanima mola jantel si kunde Grand Villa said us one day Yeah Grand Villa
Oh man, this is like a paradise. I said I love this place, man. Trust me, I love this place. You come in someone and you're watching you. I've been doing a new to come down. Grand Villa. I tell you, I love this place. I love this place, man. Oh yeah.
Ni liftan na kuwa keso sotola. Futama Oljuntum Paradise Estate by your command roke 7527218. Wale futana website auto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guesthouse.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Bushby roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and a breathtaking experience of our beautiful Seaview and Lakeview. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website at ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
domoro ka diate
boy janno CK's restaurant
sa nakko be minna dimbal nimbe domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kendema bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka be bijele anim fanan ka fa di jan ikono e fa e ka fa minna ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele badde lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo fendil lom dunya kono domoro betama nilom international otoda number 1
amanke ba domoro jandama
esa dogo jam is atariya
wo mo kubandi
sa nakko sa futandi
oto sa nakko be mu CK's restaurant
ndako na janne mu yak ni manje jere mbija
aban
CK's restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
na bro da min bayira mista konde ita bo wala kol kan sai na so kono mano banta jabo banta tulo ban sai ka bo kol kan da ka ba official kono ba dama bulo mutarin ba ka ta simpla no ko mbato ngane ta ya kuriyan ma ko da banta na ta mano sani tulo ni jo mulla be da bro da ban balwo service kala non service balwo service ni da kurante mo kala mulla a fele bro da ko abitala internet all aya ta site level do balwo.com na wo sajje a apu ni ba download la telephone lo na da sandiro ko ni wal na da sidin hala office ko ndama manjar pura ta bank ko kodoki ada sidin office ko da daminto ido message so telephone ko no e biti ko be Gambia dawda biti ko babelo ko ta kano dawda yeta se ko tawo woda ma yana bar wasa bis na kamol da hali na kanyo ne kan fiye na bro dan ka ko ayo ko ki da
balwo service dinkirala jampo o manken na kola ko balwo service al demano kaje ko ale dumur fewol sang alla dimba mole ana lakkanun tawol wato bela ani wadu sudum fanan kono balwo service la dinkiralu ani la do kunul ibe banko karo beto kabirin katon fo koyna nalla fa ko ko taw so balwo service la koldo ali komandi telephone la la melbuko 9400213 7694319 wala 3192870 wala hankabi alta internet do alila ko jibe www.baluwo.com.
Do you live abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.
When we touch down, better broke down.
Gamtel G-Fiber, now you can enjoy super fast internet in gigabytes. G-Fiber is affordable, stable, secured, and accessible to homes, businesses, and enterprises. With Gamtel G-Fiber, the future is speed. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
That's how she became mine and see that